Is your mind driving you crazy? Like all these thoughts that keep spinning in a loop again and again and again and again? Well, if that's you, then this video is exactly for you. Because today I will share with you something that I have experienced in my own life and what actually helped me to get out of that constant loop cycle of the mind that keeps spinning and spinning and spinning and it never ends. So first of all, we need to realize, why is our mind driving us crazy? Why is that happening? Well, as the Buddha said, attachment is the root of all suffering, or desire is the root of all suffering, which is basically the same thing, because desire is what creates attachment, and then that attachment creates the negative loop that keeps spinning and spinning. And it may not necessarily be like a negative loop, it may be just a loop. You need to figure something out in your life, and your mind just keeps spinning and it never stops. So this is because you have attachment to a certain outcome. You have a very strong desire to achieve something, or to get out of some situation, or to get in a certain place in your life. If you didn't have that strong desire, or at least if you didn't have that strong attachment to that outcome, then your mind wouldn't be in a constant loop. So once you realize that it's your attachment to the outcome that actually makes your mind keep going in circles, then you can finally realize that in order to actually break that loop of the negative cycle of the mind, you need to actually let go. And letting go can be very scary. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm someone who is very ambitious. I have goals, I have dreams that I'm working constantly towards, and it's very hard for someone like that to let go of the outcome, because we are doing everything in our power to create that outcome. So, of course, we're attached to that. But here is where the tricky part comes. The more attachment you have to a certain outcome, the more you will suffer in the process. And if we go to quantum dynamics, which doesn't matter if you believe it or not, if you go to quantum dynamics, you will see that the more you chase something, the more this thing gets further away from you. So, not to become some woo-woo concept here, I'm just telling you things that are true, things that I have experienced for myself in my own life, and I can share these things because I know they work. At least they work for me. So still I have a business to run, still I have to make content, still I have to earn a living, I still have to do all these things. However, once I did my best to actually let go of being so attached to the outcome, when is it going to happen, how long will it take, I'm sick and tired of this situation, I want to change things, and this creates mental and emotional turmoil. You need to be able to let go of the how and the when. You need to be able to let go of how long will it take, and when will this thing happen, and how long am I going to suffer. Look, life doesn't always give you what you want, but it always gives you what you need. And this is not some philosophical thing, this is just the truth. Because you may think that your restless mind is actually what's stopping you from having peace, which to a certain extent that's true, and it makes you suffer. But also, if you never had that restless mind, you will never have the opportunity to learn how to calm and center and balance your mind. So you need to experience that internal chaos for a while so that you can learn how to navigate it. You can learn how to calm your nervous system, calm your mind, calm your emotions, calm everything within you, and actually center yourself. Because this is why the mind is restless, because you're off balance. So you need to find a way to center yourself. The way I do that is through having a regular meditation practice. I've been meditating for 7 or 8 years on a daily basis, and it has transformed my entire life. Now, I'm not saying this because I want to persuade you to try meditation. I'm not trying to persuade anyone here. I'm just sharing it because it worked for me. Because meditating on a daily basis actually allows me to ground myself, to center myself in my own being, and then the mind is not restless throughout the day. Now, if that's something that resonates with you, then try it out. Try meditation. If it doesn't, okay, you don't have to. You just need to spend some time in solitude, being alone, so that you can actually see this for yourself. That your mind is restless because you have a strong attachment to the outcome. If you didn't have that attachment, the mind, there is no reason for it to be restless. Automatically, the mind will be calm, will be balanced because there is nothing that stimulates it. And also, there are external things, like if you have distractions all around you all day long, of course, your mind will feel restless. Now, how do we actually apply this to the modern way of living? Because let's be honest, we have a lot of things that we must do to get to a certain level of life that we want. If that's what your life looks like, then you need to find time for both. You need to find time for taking action, and you need to find time for silence and solitude. And find your own rhythm to this. Because if you only take action and you have higher awareness, you will become restless all the time. And although you're accomplishing so many things, you will actually not feel very good at all internally. So we want to have both. We want to have inner peace, inner stability, emotional stability, mental stability, while also achieving our dreams, while also pursuing things that are meaningful to us. And that is definitely possible. So, in order to do that, you need to find your own rhythm. How much time do you need to spend in silence a day? How much time do you need to spend in solitude? Is it 15 minutes a day? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 1 hour? Now, there is no strict rule to that. You cannot say, I need 30 minutes and this is forever. It changes. So, one day you may need 10 minutes, another day you may need 2 hours. You have to find a way to trust your own beingness, because what you are on the inside, you need to trust that, because it will tell you, which you could call intuition or instinct. It will tell you when to rest, when to take action, when to stay somewhere in between. It will tell you everything. And it's not like you hear a voice, it's like you just have a knowing, and it doesn't feel right to do more of this thing right now at this particular time. It may be right to do later, but right now it may be right that you calm down, and you recollect and you rebalance yourself. So that's very important. So in reality, Letting go of outcomes so that your mind doesn't drive you crazy is a process. It's not like you let go in one moment and then your mind never drives you crazy. You may fall back into old habits. You may let go now and you feel peaceful, you feel relaxed, you feel like you can enjoy your life. And then 1 week later, you fall back into it. And again, you get obsessed over the outcomes. But what you must realize here is that we cannot control the outcomes. The only thing we have control over is our inputs. You have to realize this. You cannot make something happen in one day. That's not real. For anything to be built, you need consistent input. And when is it going to click? When is it going to appear in your outer life? There are so many factors that depend on that. So don't concern yourself with the time frame. Don't concern yourself with uh, thinking that you're in a rush or you're behind. You're not in a rush. You're not behind. Life is a marathon. Life is not a sprint. So you need to play the long game, and that's how you stay stabilized internally, and you actually learn to calm your nervous system and your mind, because the calmer you are, the more stable your inside, the better your inputs will be. So take care of yourself first and then take care of everything else. Because if you don't take care of yourself first, everything that you do will be chaotic. So if you want to produce good things in your life, then you need to take care of yourself. This means your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, everything. So you need to find a way to let go. Now, what's that way? How do we let go? Because it may seem like it's a good thing when you hear it, but how do we actually let go? Well, you have to accept that you cannot control the future. You cannot control the present moment. You cannot control the past. The only thing you have control over is your own actions. That's the only thing that you have control over. And you cannot know for sure what these actions will produce for you in the future. There is a very wise prayer. I don't remember who came up with it, but it's very wise. It's available in all different languages, at least from my background. In Bulgaria, there is also that quote of wisdom. In English, there is also. So the quote is like, God, give me the courage to change the things that I can, and give me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, and give me the wisdom to discern between the two. This is so powerful because you actually admit that yes, there are things you can control, but yes, there are also things you cannot control. And you need wisdom to be able to make that difference and then focus on the things that you can control and let go of the things that are outside of your control, which is the time frame. When is it going to happen? Is it going to happen at all? Am I going to achieve this? And so on. Focus on your input and make it as best as you can. Be as conscious and as present as you can while making these inputs, and be calm and stabilized within, and then automatically the inputs will get better. So the most important thing here is that you take care of yourself. Take care of your internal life so that your external life can benefit from that too. If you're not good inside, it doesn't matter what you do, you will feel miserable. So your mind is driving you crazy because of your attachment, and behind that attachment is a strong desire. While you may not necessarily be able to remove the desire, you can actually work on letting go of that attachment. This means that what if that goal doesn't happen? What if the thing that you're after doesn't happen? You fail, let's say. Then what? Are you going to be your entire life miserable because of that? Or are you going to get back up and keep going? So you have to accept the worst case scenario. And I'm not saying be okay with it or allow yourself to drive to drift into that direction. You still need to stay focused on your goals and your ambitions and whatever it is that you want to achieve. But also remember that there is only so much you can control. So do your best to let go of that attachment to the outcome and only focus on your inputs. This will create a peace of mind for you. And this is a process. It doesn't happen in one day. It's something that you need to work on. You need to constantly remind yourself that don't try to overmanage and control life so much. Go with the flow. Whatever the flow shows you, go with it. And that's how you actually create the life that you are meant to live. It's by going with the flow. And if you don't experience that flow, then there are some blockages. I have a video about this on inspired action. You can look it up on my channel. Inspired action, the key to higher consciousness. I think that's the video. And also my most recent video, unlock the power of the universe within you. These two videos is where I talk about that divine flow and how to unlock it. So that's not for this video. But to close now the video, we're at the end. If your mind is driving you crazy, you don't even need to find, you already know it. You know where your attachment is. And where your attachment is, there is your work to let go. Letting go does not mean you give up on the goal, you give up on your ambition, on your dreams. That's not what it means. You still pursue them, but you take care of yourself first, and you realize that you need to be in a good space internally for that vision to actually come true. And it doesn't matter what dreams you achieve, if you feel internally not in the best way, there is nothing that can compensate for that. So we want to balance material life with spiritual life because both of them are extremely important. So to do that, find a way to spend time in solitude and to do that shadow work. Doing shadow work means you actually try to see things about yourself that are somewhere hiding. And sometimes it's very obvious. I know I'm attached to this outcome. I just need to relax a little and get my mind off this. Do something else. Go distract yourself for a little. Watch a movie. Make some art. Make some music. Whatever you're into. Go speak to someone who you resonate with. Just take your mind off that loop. You need to break the loop. And then once you break it, be conscious and aware that you don't fall back into it. And if you fall back into it, don't beat yourself up. You're a human being and old habits will persist for a while. So you need to be conscious of all your thoughts, all your internal processes, and actually guide them. Actually guide them without control. When the mind starts driving you crazy, you don't try to shut it down. You allow it to be there. You allow the thoughts to be there. You don't resist them, because if you resist them, more chaos is created. You allow them to be there. You let them do their thing, and they will pass. Don't resist the mind. If you resist the mind, it will become worse. Allow the mind to do its job, which is to always think, but just try to not get pulled into these thoughts. Do your thing and let the mind do its thing. And you have to also realize the best ideas that I have gotten throughout my life are ideas when I wasn't so heavily obsessed on coming up with an idea. The more I become obsessed with coming up with an idea, the more blockages I feel inside my mind and the more I cannot come with an idea. And when I let go and allow the mind to do its natural thing, and ideas start flowing to me. So this is how it happens. It's my experience that it never really worked for me to sit down and force myself to come up with ideas. This just doesn't work. At least not for me. For me, what works is relax, do your thing, stay focused, and then ideas start coming. So yeah, attachment is what makes your mind to drive you crazy. So work on that, work on letting go, and you will see that this will be one of the best things you have ever done for yourself. So I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If so, please leave a like. It helps the channel a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Leave a comment down below what insight is most helpful to you from this video. Also, I own a clothing brand, which is Jackal Studio X. You can check it out. Link is down in the description. I also produce electronic dance music. If that's something you're into, check it out. Link is also down in the description. Other than that, thank you for being here today. My name is Stefan Petrov. I appreciate your time spent on this channel, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.